We got the ramp up in extremes, got mud floods in mines, got mud floods in cities, and now the Pope's praying over ice to try to reassure everybody that the cycle prophesied by the Mayans is not returning. Do you believe him? Starting off here with Kilauea, well over 1,000 feet in eruption. This type of absolutely stunning pressure display here of fountaining lava. Not something you see every day, and it's been going on for days. So what is happening with the pressure in the crust of our planet pushing this magma up? And at the same time, the dual Fujiwara effect typhoons ripping straight over Bermuda on its way to the UK. Beware, this weekend is going to be nasty. And speaking of nasty, let's talk about going into the world's second largest copper mine. That hole in the ground there, Irian Jaya, that had flooded. And when I say mud flood, I really mean mud flood. So the footage here that they have from the cameras, it wasn't so much a break in a pipe. It was just water started seeping from the mountainside and created this liquid slurry that had come in and filled the caverns to the point that they needed rescuing. And it's a still ongoing event here, but 2% of the world's copper was taken off of supply for at least the next 6 months. And here's something with that. There was 1 million ounces of gold that was the byproduct of the copper mining that's not going to be making it to the market here in the next 3 months. So perhaps that's why we're seeing gold prices go up, because there'll be 1 million ounces not there. Along with the copper, it's only 2% of global production, but copper prices have risen to nearly all-time highs. So when you're looking at it in the larger scheme of things, it doesn't take a complete wipeout of a certain metal or food crop or a port or something. It has to be a percentage of the global total that will then send a spookiness wave through. Oh, our material supply is not coming. And this is going to be offline for months, possibly 3 to 6 months. So if you take that out, that's 2 million ounces of gold off the market. And how many millions of ounces of copper? So you start to see how that traces down. Just follow it through the industry of your choice. And speaking of mud floods, Taiwan, also Hualien, East Coast, that was a major overpass bridge. What you see right there has disappeared due to the floods. They had an upper level lake that burst its banks. No warning. Thousands of people affected. They're trying to bring a new road in there as a stopgap measure. When I say mud flood, this area here is totally covered in silt and mud. It's the closest thing we can take a look to what you would consider a mud flood in today's world. It's taken thousands and thousands and thousands of people to come in to clear this out. Now they're going shop by shop, house by house. This is one area of Taiwan itself. But if this was an entire country, you could almost see how it would take a very, very long time if the mud was thicker and it was deeper and it was 3-4 feet deep, 6 feet deep, 8 feet deep, how that could never be cleaned out. And you would just punch a door in the second floor, and make that your entranceway. Nobody would clean that out. And we see this repeatedly through history. And it is the same thick type of mud that seems to bury cities on a routine, let's say, schedule. But I want you to take a look at this image here. You can see the road where they're digging out the road in the center of the image there. The rest of that is 3 to 4 foot deep of mud and slurry and silt. Think about it. Banks, billionaires, and countries are loading up on physical gold and silver. Why? Because when markets swing, real assets hold their value. That's how generational wealth is passed down. Don't wait until the headlines confirm what's already happening behind closed doors. It's time to protect what you've built. Noble Gold's precious metals specialists are standing by to answer your questions and walk you through every step. They make it simple to own investment grade gold or silver that you can put in your hands or into your retirement account. And for a limited time, offer silver bonus. 1 10-ounce silver flag bar plus 1 silver American Eagle proof coin for new qualified accounts, IRA, or cash purchases. That's 2030gold.com. And with half the world moving to a gold-backed currency, you have to wonder what's going to happen in the future. That's 2030gold.com, or click on that link in the description box below. That spilled over into, on the right side of the photo, everywhere you can see, that was partially factory, storage warehouses, but the roads are being uncovered. And again, you're going to be looking at something with a berm in it. They're going to have to peel back that mud even further. And it's just image after image looking at this depth of mud. Now, where it is in the homes, again, not too deep, but even these small excavators getting in there, they're dealing with like a slurry type of mud. Now, put it in perspective. If that happened, this is Chicago at night from the city laid out in the grid. What if this covered the entire city 3 to 4 feet deep? What do you think would happen with our infrastructure, with our cities? Some of the main roads would be dug out, of course, because a lot of effort would be put in there. But the periphery areas would continue to remain buried. However the depth is, and we see this worldwide, I encourage you to take a look at global liquefaction events or mud floods, see how these come and go on a recurring cycle. And perhaps this is part of the reset that comes in, that is the disruption point for economy and food growing of the time. Because if this was to spill over your fields, you lost your entire crop. Could you plant into it the next year? Perhaps, but it would be pure mud until that soil started to, break down and bring in some sands and get it a little more loamy. So you can see how this would be a difficult time. But let's head over to Naples for a double espresso. Oh, wait, can't get up the stairs. We're looking at tremendous flooding rains all across Italy. A month worth of rain in just an afternoon. Also, still trying to chase down the story. The videos are coming, but they're slow. So from Naples to Nigeria and everywhere in between, this is a image just outside Lagos and stretching out as far as you can see. It's an inland sea. But please remember, this area before was an estuary. When they traveled from East to West Africa by river and by water, which is now dry, those African megalakes had dried out over the last 6,000 years. This was an area at the bottom of one of the megalakes, the periphery edge of it, and then off of that, it was an estuary, domesticated millet at that time, West Africa. So you can see how we have built down to the low point, chasing the water down, thinking it would never return, but now it's returning. Now to what happens with our infrastructure. And it's just so interesting that this Pope, forget his name, was blessing the ice to try to reassure humanity that there's some intervention. What if it's a natural cycle? Is the question that can't be stopped, and that's what everybody's preparing for. The intensification, the amplification, the clouds, we see it everywhere. This is not natural. And if this is playing a part of it, this needs to stop. Although I might add in cosmic radiation management as a sub-level and a subset of this. We're learning about geoengineering and those reflective particles for blocking sunlight. Perhaps also those nanoparticulate metals nullify charges of incoming cosmic rays, thereby stopping the cloud formation. And without this, we would have biblical floods every day of the week, everywhere on the planet. I was told about this concept of a dual layer for this. The one's more manageable. We're blocking the sun. You can go to protest. You can do the airport. Oh, by the way, if we stop this, we're going to get 7 times more rainfall, especially when we come into solar minimum because of cosmic ray cloud building. That's not an easy sell, just saying. Which brings me to the Fahervari Codex. Are we seeing and witnessing the 5th time of man beginning? And this was what was marked in time. That whole around 2012, the change of energies, the squaring of the gas giants last year, another change in energy, and suddenly we have 5 comets in our sky. The world seems to have amplified in its extremes, and we have ancient cultures pointing to this very time that something would change, to the point it would reset humanity into the next time of mankind. Are we there? And is this what everybody's preparing for? Is really the question. I'll leave that for you. I do appreciate you watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Please remember, every purchase you make helps keep this channel on air, bringing you information just like this. And Zorb, Victory Nutrition International. When's the last time you could trust your gut? Also, Alpha Vedic Dental Solutions, Holistic, alphavedic.com/civilization. Please share with your friends, families, get them in on the conversation as well. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.